Alrighty guys, this is snugsonblitz and I'm back with another video for you today. I've been counting down my top 10 quote-unquote sneaky tricks, and we're up to my number 3 today. Remember, these are not that sneaky, but seems that some players didn't get the memo. Pros know these things, good players should know them, but maybe they've forgotten a few. I thought I would share them here in this list. You might not agree with me, that's cool. Feel free to create your own YouTube channel. But since this is mine, I'm going to share my thoughts with you. And my number 3 is essentially twofold. It's called the pool and guns. Let's deal with the second one first. You want as many guns in the game as possible because a gun is still a threat. Imagine you have an FB-183 on your team, but he's only got 2 hit points. He's still a deterrent. He can still scare the enemy tanks from pushing in on you because he can whack off 1,000 hit points in one shot. Still a threat. I've had games where I've lost nearly all my health in the first minute and yet gone on to do 3 and 4K games. Still a threat. As long as I'm alive, as long as I've got shells, I can cause trouble for the enemy team. Second thing, the pool. You have a certain amount of hit points, and sometimes people conserve all their hit points. I get it. But the problem is, by doing so, sometimes you've let your teammates fall apart. You've kept your hit points, but you haven't shared them with your teammates, taking a hit here and there, and therefore they've fallen apart. Now it can work, but you've made the game sometimes much harder than it needs to be. And if you've got a long reload, you're going to really struggle with multiple targets. Let's say a KPZ 70-ton. He whacks off 500 points, that's great, but now he's on a long reload, so he can't deal with multiple targets. And if you're in a T62, you can deal with multiple targets because you've got great DPM. So it just depends what the situation is. And sometimes you need to conserve your hit points, and sometimes it pays to try and take some damage for your teammates. You just have to play it by ear. Anyway, I've got a game here in the Lanson, and I'm going to head off here. Looks like my team has decided to go A, so I'm going to do some spotting. Unfortunately, I notice a problem. We've got a J-Panther sitting in the open, not using any bushes, terrible positioning. Well, that's not going to go well. And we have an AFK, so I don't have much hope for this game. Now, the Lanson sees an okay tank, very much like a Pershing level tank. It's okay, but it's not OP. So, if the enemy Chimera platoon comes on in here, we could be in all sorts of pain. Luckily, our Chimera has woken up, so that's good news. But let's see what happens. Okay, we've got one tank over here, and he's coming in. Okay, it's Chimera versus Chimera, it seems. Now, the J-Panther could push in with him, which I think he should do, because he should share his hit points, but he's not doing that. And that means I'm going to have to try and help this guy out. Look at that, the Chimera's taken some massive hits. I'm going to try and cause some trouble for their Chimera to hit our buddy. And I wanted his gun on me, but dang it. That was a bit of a mistake from me. But luckily the Chimera's down to a one-shot on their team. If I can get rid of him, we should be golden. Come on, J-Panther, whack him. Whack him. Okay, I will do it. And now I'm going to take a hit from this Chimera. But now the focus fire of myself and the J-Panther should be enough to take him out. Unfortunately, he's going to stop there, so I'm going to have to try and deal with the Chimera by myself, but I should... Whoa, that was lucky. I think I could have taken that hit, so it wouldn't have been the end of the world. Now, the two of us are going to work on this Kanonen. Had we sat back and let the Chimera die, we would have lost a crap ton of our hit point pool, plus a gun in the process. That's no good. The Chimera hits hard, and he's a very dangerous tank. Now, it doesn't look like we really needed to do much, actually, because our team has done great on the other side of the map. We had 3 tanks over here. We ended up with 1 tank alive. That's me. On the other side, though, we still have 4 tanks, and they only have 2. So, good job, heavy tanks. I don't know what you did, but much thanks to you, because you made the game nice and easy. Remember, you don't want to let 2 Chimeras run around, especially from the rear. They are tough tanks to deal with their big, strong guns, decent armor, decent speed. So, remember, this is not a 1v1 game. It's a 7v7 game. you have a certain amount of hit points on your team, sometimes you might want to consider taking a hit or two for your teammates. But at other times, you're going to have to say, hey, there's nothing I can do. If I push in now, it's too late. You've made your bed, now you have to lie in it. It's a case-by-case scenario. But anyway, that's my thoughts on this. It wasn't the best game, but as I said, I don't have that much time, so I've got to get these out for you. I'll see you tomorrow with my number 2 tip. Snugs on Blitz, out.